So anytime we can go live and share it with the audience live, we definitely take advantage of that. But again, hello. So I see a lot of new names and new faces, so nice to meet everyone. If we have time at the end of the session, we may go around and do introductions, but I like to kind of jump in. Just for those that are with us for the first time, I am Magali Ascent. I serve as the director at Hustle Winston-Salem, which is an organization that focuses on inclusive entrepreneurship. And this program, Marketing Outside the Box, is a weekly program that we offer, and we do them kind of like in monthly series. So this month, we've been focused on building your own website, comparing Wix and WordPress. And today is the last day of that series. So if you haven't had an opportunity to be with us before today for this particular series, you can definitely visit our Facebook page to catch the first four sessions of the series, or you can send us an email at hustlewsinfo@gmail.com. And Tony, who's on the Hustle team, can drop that into the chat for you. And Tasha, who's also part of the Hustle team, will get that information over to you. Great news is that we are working on getting all of our videos from Facebook, our Marketing Outside the Box videos from Facebook onto our YouTube page, because I'm understanding we've gotten a few emails from folks that don't have Facebook or don't use Facebook, so they need some other access to the videos. So we are migrating those slowly but surely. So then you'll always have access to them on our YouTube page as well. We do this program in conjunction with the Foresight Tech Small Business Center. So I'm not sure how many of you all are not familiar with Winston-Salem, North Carolina, in the Triad area, but that's one of our community colleges that happen to house a small business center. So we do it in conjunction with them, as well as a co-working space that we have here called Flywheel Co-working. It's when we're in person, of course, we do it with Flywheel virtually. They're not part of the program, but when we are in person, we do it at Flywheel. So again, I'm going to jump right into the session and share my screen in just a moment. But just kind of want to remind you, week one, we focused on kind of the front end of Wix and the different ways that you can create a Wix account. And in the second week, we went into the back end of Wix. The third week, we focused more on the front end of WordPress. Last week, we focused on a little bit of the back end of WordPress. I think there are a few WordPress questions I need to go through today as well. So this week is the final week of the series, and what we're going to do, there are a few questions I recall throughout the sessions that came up that maybe I may not have given a clear answer to, or I just want to make sure I revisit it to make sure that the response is very clear for anyone that may be thinking about it deeply. So I'll kind of go through those few areas on both platforms, whether it's Wix or WordPress. So I'll jump around both platforms today. And kind of highlight those areas. So any of those questions that I thought was missing. And then I'll talk a little bit, a few pros and cons, and then I'll share some of the domains. I think I mentioned to you all that I want to share different domain sites. So I'll just go through a quick of domain sites for you to link to either one of those platforms. And that should close us out. But the primary purpose of today's session, in case I go over, in case I'm telling you stuff that you don't really need to be hearing and you have other burning questions, the primary purpose of today's session as we close out this series is to answer any questions you have. So if you started working either on your Wix website or your WordPress website and you have questions as you've been doing that, today is the day to really dig in and ask those questions. This goes for our friends on Facebook as well. Tony will definitely keep an eye if any questions come up on Facebook, and we'll address them. But you know, the best way to always get your questions answered to our Facebook friends is to join us on the Zoom. All right. So let's see. Let me share my screen and we'll jump right in. Again, if you have questions, don't be afraid to ask me. And I think what we'll start with, I'm not sharing my screen yet. One moment. I think what we'll start with today is the question around, I think it was during week one, maybe during week two, someone asked a question about the pop-ups on websites. And for those that haven't been with us, I would have logged in already. We're on the back end. This is the site we kind of been working with. These two sites we created during this session, and been play working with, but we'll just jump into this one. One of the questions was about creating a pop-up when people join your website, when people visit your website and you want them to join your mailing list or something like that. So remember, we're on the back end. Anytime you want to edit your site, you can either click actions and create it and choose edit your site from this list, or you can just click edit site from there. And I think I've shared, you always want to give Wix a little minute as it loads your site that you're working on. So the first thing I want to show you here is how you do that. Someone asked about that pop-up. So that pop-up is known as a light box, okay? So in Wix, what you do with the light box, and let me move these things out of my way. In Wix, what you do with the light box is this plus sign, remember this plus sign here is typically how you add anything to your page. So you'll start with the plus sign. You'll go down to interactive. On Wix, you'll go up with the plus sign, you'll go down to interactive. Remember, there are a lot of number of things, and we went through some of these things, but for this particular purpose, you'll go into interactive. And when you click on interactive, you see the option for Lightbox. You see slideshows, Lightbox, boxes, repeaters, but in this case, you're looking at Lightbox. For the email, since the question that was asked of me was very specific to email, getting people to sign up for your email listing, you want to choose subscribe under Lightbox, okay? You choose subscribe. When you click that, it will show you a few of their templates under subscribe. As you can see, they don't have that many, but they have some. And keep in mind, these will always cater to the template you selected. So if you are in different template, it probably won't look like these exact three, okay? But either way, you choose the one that you want. Let's just say we want this one. We want to add that to our Lightbox, to our page. When you click on the one that you want, you go to that settings gear right here. You click on that settings gear of your Lightbox and you edit it as needed. You name it. Is that the name you want it? If that's great, then that's great. If you want to change it, then change it. Do you want it to pop up automatically or not on your pages? You click yes or no. Any additional information you might want about Lightbox. Remember, I told you Wix is very informative and intuitive. They'll have something for you to learn more if you need more information before you commit to the Lightbox. So simple. I think what I'm not seeing here, what I want to see, typically it asks you which page you want it to be on. Let me see. Let me click exit mode and try that again, because it should have asked you if you want it like on that home page, if you want it on a different page. And again, each template is different. So sometimes we don't see all of the features on every template. So that could be what's happening here, but let me check one more time. I'm sorry, y'all know with Zoom, it kind of has all of the things in the way if you see my mouse moving all over the screen. So we click settings. Let's just say yes. Okay. That's correct. Okay, so when you click on yes, it'll ask you, if you want it to automatically pop up, it'll ask you which page you want it on. Most people choose the home page, but if you want it if you want it on your contact page, if you happen to have a blog and you want it to pop up on your blog page, that's up to you. But it's that simple on Zoom to set up your Lightbox, okay? And I know that, not on Zoom, excuse me, on Wix. And I know that the question that was asked about this a couple of weeks ago was specific to Wix, but I want to show you how to do it on WordPress as well, in case from the last couple of weeks you decided that WordPress is the website for you. So let's jump over to WordPress really quickly. And in WordPress, the process is, you may recall that I shared with you all with WordPress, while apps are free in Wix, typically WordPress, you're going to pay for the plugins, and apps and plugins are equivalent to each other as for the purposes of each platform. That's what it means. So on Wix, on your back end, you're going down to plugins. Again, you're going to click into this search box here. When you click into the search box, you're going to type Lightbox. And when you type in Lightbox, Wix, WordPress is going to show you all the lightbox options. And I think I need to make it one word for the purposes of this. Yeah, you make it one word, your lightbox options, and it'll pop up with the different options that you have as a lightbox. Keep in mind on WordPress, you have to pay for it because we are practicing on a free site. I can't show you the next steps because I would need to pay for it, and we're not doing that for the purposes of this course. But it's very simple again, but there typically is a price tied to it, but just keep in mind, you scroll down to plugins, type in lightbox in the search, and then choose whichever lightbox you want for your particular website, and where and the process is very similar. What page do you want to put this on, and et cetera, et cetera. So I just wanted to give that quick overview of how you add a subscription pop-up box to your website, because I know the question came up. And on Wix itself, and on both platforms, actually, when you click the interactive, as you can see, they have options for beyond the email subscription. So if you wanted a pop-up to welcome somebody to your website when they visit your website, you can do that. If you have a promotion going and you want to pop it because you have a particular, 24-hour sale or whatever the case may be, you can do it for that. Or if you want your contact information to pop up immediately, let's just say, most people use this, especially during the winter seasons, when weather is bad and they're not opening for the day. When someone visits their websites, they'll have that contact one pop up to say, our severe weather hours are this, etc. So you can use it as necessary, but just wanted to point that out. Any questions about that before I move on? All right. So the other question that was asked over the last couple of sessions that I want to make sure I dive into a response for, or rather, I don't know if this was asked, but I know last week it was kind of confusing. So I want to get back to it and show you all more directly how to handle that. So this was about putting the social media, adding new social media onto your Wix. Wix, WordPress, so many words. WordPress. I see Trudy laughing at me, but your WordPress site, you'll go into appearance. Remember, if you weren't with us before this week, you can go back into last week's session and kind of get the breakdown into how I'm navigating this. So if you feel a little lost and this is your first time, don't be afraid to ask questions, but do know that last week's session walks you through this step by step. So we're going into appearance and menus, as some of you may recall. And then under menus, we're going to social menu. And I'm going over this again because last week I accidentally added one of the social media menu items as a page. And I want to do it the correct way so that you know how to do it. So let's just say we want to add, I think at the time I talked about adding LinkedIn. And last time what I did, I put it in here, which was the wrong thing. When you click add item, so remember, let me do this again. When you click, if you're back in your dashboard, let's just do it again. You're in your dashboard, you click appearance, you go down to menus, it'll pop up your menus item. You scroll down to social media menu. It'll show you what you already have on your website. And as you can see, this coordinates with what you see right here. And remember, if you don't want to search for it here, the pencil is there for a reason. If you click that pencil, it's going to take you to the same menu right here. Okay. You click add items. And instead of doing what I did last week, as far as add page, now, if you were adding a new page to your website, that would be correct. But this is not what we're doing. You see where it says custom links. Let me move this out my way again. You'll hit that drop down next to custom links. And this is actually where you add whatever other social platform you want to add. In this case, let's just say we want to add, I think we talked about LinkedIn. We'll just add my LinkedIn as a page. So you'll go to your LinkedIn and you'll copy and paste that link. Copy this link, go back to where are we, WordPress? Yes, you go back to WordPress and you put that URL in there. You paste it in there. If you want a word there, you can. In this case, I'll put LinkedIn. I don't think the other ones have it, so I might remove that. but you just click add to menu. You click save changes, and now LinkedIn is there. Okay. And it would link to whatever LinkedIn page you want. So I wanted to share that because, like I said, I know I specifically added it as a page last week, and that may have confused some people. So I wanted to make sure I came back to that specific thing. Any questions about adding that to your social menu? If you have questions about adding more pages, we went through that last week, and that's a different process. It's the same area, but a different process. You wouldn't choose social media menu, but I wanted to share that. I see some things in the chat. I can't see the chat, so if it's a question, just feel free to unmute yourself and ask your question, okay? All right, so the next thing I wanted to...
Hey, Max, sorry. One second, it's in the chat. MH wants to know how to perform the same social menu in Wix.
Okay, so definitely you want to go back and watch that, but I will go through it, but I want to make sure that you get a chance to watch. I think we did that maybe during week 1, possibly week 2. But in Wix, when you're adding, Wix is a little, in my opinion, a little bit more user-friendly and simple with these things. So there are several ways. If you already have it on your menu, let's see, does this website have it? No. So if you don't already have it on your menu, most things you can do with this plus sign, okay? When you're adding something to your website. So on Wix, you click that plus sign again, scroll down to social. Why is it okay? Scroll down to social, and you can choose a social bar, or if it's just one social platform, you'll choose that. If it's just, whatever the platform is, most people want a social bar, and you choose which one of these bars you want. And if that's just, and once you choose a social bar, let's just say I choose that one, and let's just say we want it right here on our website or something, right? Once you choose that social bar, and you want to edit the links, you just click on it, and you'll go through each one and put your link in there. If you don't have a particular platform, let's just say you don't have a Tumblr, and you just want to remove that altogether, you will take that out of your social bar. My computer is not working with me right now, but you see that once you highlight over it, it says remove image, you will just delete that one because you don't have Tumblr and you don't want that on your social bar or whatever the case may be. But like I said, and you can move that wherever you want. And as you go through the settings with your social bar on Wix, you can have it where you can anchor it where no matter what page somebody visits, it's there. Like I think I used the example of the Hustle website before. Let me do this again. Our website, it's going to move with you. You see that social bar moving with you as you scroll. It's going to be there. And that's how we have ours set up. And I think we have it set up that no matter what page you're on, let's see, no matter what page you're on, it's going to still be there. So we have our station, and this is a Wix website. That's why I use our website as an example a lot, but it's going to be there no matter what you're doing. Okay. So there are a number of ways, and I think I've said it a few times. Wix is the most, in my opinion, my biased opinion, of the two, it's the most user-friendly. Actually, it's not that biased. Like they have polled people, and this answer has come out. It's the most user-friendly, but WordPress is definitely way more customizable. Like you can do more very customizable things on WordPress, but Wix is very much like, you can truly build your website in an hour if you wanted to, if you had all your content ready, okay? So hopefully that answers your question about the social platform. Were there any other questions, Tony, before I move on? Or anyone, feel free to unmute yourself.
I'd like to confirm the link for the Facebook recordings of the last weeks. Was that facebook.com/hustlews, or was there more?
I normally just tell people to find us on Facebook, but yes, that's correct. I had to click on it real quick to confirm. It's facebook.com/hustlews. And
Okay.
since I'm here, I'll just walk you through it really quickly. When you get to our Facebook page, if you click on videos at the top of our page right here,
Mhm.
well, we're live right now, but if you click videos, we have a section under our playlist. If you scroll down and under playlist, we have a section titled 2021 Virtual Marketing Outside the Box Sessions. So any sessions we've had this month, you can click see all, and you'll see all of them available for you to view. And if you happen to need something from 2020, we also have a 2020 Virtual Marketing Outside the Box sessions that you can click on and see those. We don't have any before 2020 because we didn't think to go virtual before the pandemic. But I tell people all the time, since we're here, I know this wasn't meant to be a highlight hustle moment, but it's what we're going to do. I tell people all the time, if you click on our events at the top, Facebook used to make this easier, but now you have to keep clicking see more and see more to see whatever. But if you were to continue to click down, see more, and you got to 2000 pre-pandemic 2020 and 2019, 2018, and you see any topics from our Marketing Outside the Box from previous years that you are interested in, we do not have a video recording for you, but we have all of the presentations. So if you ever needed the presentations pre-March of 2020, we can always send you that presentation as long as you send an email to us at the email address that Tony put in the chat for you all. Okay.
Thank you very kindly.
No problem. No problem.
Margaret, sorry to interrupt. I'm very interested in developing like a page, like that Facebook page, so it can be connected to whenever I do a live, when I get to that point. Maybe an idea for another class.
Yeah, so I was going to share this at the end of class. Next month, the month of October, we're doing kind of these walkthrough sessions. So for those that aren't used to Marketing Outside the Box, we kind of do it two ways. Sometimes it's the presentations and I'm throwing a whole lot of information at you and you have a PowerPoint slide or a Canvas slide afterwards to kind of refer to. And then sometimes we do these walkthrough versions of series like we've done this month. So next month will be the same thing, but I'm walking you through Instagram and we're covering Reels, we're covering IGTV, we're covering all of the things and some things that have changed. We're covering how you create your captions to make sure that your captions are being noticed and things of that nature. So that's what we're doing in October. So Lorena, because you asked, we'll do the same thing, but we'll do it in November for Facebook. So I'll make a note to myself that in November we'll do a Facebook walkthrough, but we may just do it from a media stance because Facebook is so much. There's so much to cover in Facebook. You almost could never do it, but we'll probably focus specifically on media on Facebook. I'm writing it down so I don't forget that I said this.
Amazing. Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, like how to make the most out of your Facebook page. That's probably.
Yeah. So, yeah. All right, November 2021, got it. And November is typically a shorter month because holidays fall in November, so we'll figure it out. But anyways, I will definitely do that for Lorena, but that'll be November because next month we're doing Instagram. All right, so the next thing that I want to, was there another question before I hop on? Okay. The next thing that I kind of want to address last week, and I don't know if he's here with us today, but someone asked us last week about hiding pages on WordPress. Like if you have a page and you're not ready to hide, to have it published on your website. So there are two ways. And, before it was just part of these three dots. And that's why last week I was like, where did it go? But these sites are always updating and changing. So before it was part of this, there would be an option that says hide page, but that's no longer there. But let's just say the blog page is the page we want to hide, or types of food is the page we want to hide. I don't think we added anything to these pages, so they're probably empty. Yeah, they're empty pages. But so there are two ways to do this. If the page is still a draft and you never actually published the page, then obviously it'll be a hidden page. So that's just an FYI number one for you. If your page is still technically a draft, if you never published the page, it won't be seen on on your website. And what I mean by seen, because what I shared last week, while WordPress, you can be on your website and see what your website looks like. WordPress, we are literally working on WordPress from the back end. So this is not what your viewers see. If you want to see the page, and this probably isn't the best page to use as an example. Let's use the home page as an example, because we actually worked on that page last week. But, you know, this is what it looks like to you. So it looks a little bit like what your viewers see, as opposed to when you actually visit the website. This is the website when your viewers see it. Very similar, but so if the page was not published, they wouldn't see it on the website. But because this page is already published, it's just here under, when you click on the page to edit it, under page, remember I taught you all under settings. When you click under settings, there's an option to do page or block. And for most of us, we're going to probably want to work on the page. Under visibility, you just click that. And if you want the page to be private, it's that simple. You click private. Okay, I'm not doing all of that, but that's all you would do. You would click private. WordPress also offers where you can have it as a password protected page. Meaning you would need someone would need a password to log into that page. And an example of this, I think I can show you, is the Delta Art Center. That website takes a little second to load, so bear with me for a moment. The benefits of a hidden page or WordPress or password protected pages, if you don't want SEO to pick it up. So if you don't want Google to kind of track the SEO and all of that of that page, that's one of the benefits. But the Delta Art Center is a good example, because you see this page that say Delta Art Center. Oh, didn't mean to click that. You see it says Delta Art Center board only. That's a password protected page. So board members, we all have, I'm on the board. Board members, we have a password that we must enter that will give us access to other information. So that may be beneficial for you and your organization. It just varies, you know, different people, different needs, different organizations, different needs. But I just wanted to show, and this is a WordPress site. So while Hustle operates on a WIX site, this is an example of a WordPress website that was built a while ago. And I just wanted to show you an example of a password protected site. Okay, so that question was asked last week, and because it was asked very specifically about WordPress on how you hide a page. I want to also show you how to do it on Wix, just in case you choose to do a Wix site. And on Wix, I think if I remember correctly, you just go to your pages on Wix. And there are a number of ways to go to your pages. I'm just going to go from here. You just go to your existing pages. And let's just say the shop page is the page I want to hide. You click on these three dots and there's an option to hide the page. That's simple. Again, I think Wix is probably a little bit more simpler sometimes to do simple things like that. So literally you go to your page, whatever page it is from your site menu, and I just happen to click on it from the side menu here. But if you go back a couple of weeks into videos, you'll see how you can get to that menu in other ways. If you click the navigate or the manage menu, like I can click manage menu and it'll pop up as well. Same thing, click on those three dots and you want to hide the page. Okay. So just wanted to show you how to do it on both sites since the question came up for one site. So the next thing I want to address, I think Lorena actually asked about this twice. And I don't know, Lorena, if you felt like the site that we are working on, I think they just didn't have as many examples for the accessibility. And accessibility really, I think, is one of those things that we might need more of a one-on-one to go deeper into if you have more questions, but I did want to give you some resources for it, particularly as it relates to Wix, because I think I've shared multiple times, Wix is extremely intuitive and very user-friendly. And I have a few things here just ready for, sorry, I have an alarm about to go off. I'm trying to make sure it stays quiet, but a few things that I want to point out to you, Lorena, is when when you have a Wix site, if you decide to create a Wix site, I'm about to go to back to the dashboard really quickly, okay? When you're on your dashboard for your Wix site, you would scroll down to your settings. And in your settings, you want to scroll all the way down to advanced settings. And then you see where it says custom code right here. You're going to want to click that custom code. And it's not going to let me do it because we haven't published this site yet. And I don't know why we didn't publish it, but normally what pops up, there's a code that pops up here. You can copy and paste that code. And like I said, Wix is very intuitive. It will walk you through the steps on how to embed that code into your site to automatically make whatever site you create an accessible site, okay? But I'm gonna drop these 2 links in the chat momentarily as resources. And Tony, if you can drop it on the Facebook comments for those joining us on Facebook. This is a checklist for accessibility for your website, Lorena, from Wix, for your Wix website. I don't have this for WordPress. This is for your Wix website particularly. I'm going to drop it in the chat now just so you have it and whoever else needs it as you think about your website. And it gives you a little bit more understanding of accessibility and things of that nature. But the most important things I want you to get from this site is that checklist. If you're wanting to make sure that you have an accessibility friendly website. I'm also going to put this link in here in case you find that, oh, these are the steps I was just explaining to you, Lorena, actually, and whoever else needs this. If you find that you chose a template that doesn't, because a lot of these templates on Wix already have what you need included. But if for some reason you chose a template that just doesn't, this is when you would want to really apply this process into it. Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. I think that may help you. And accessibility I think it would be a session on its own. So again, if you have questions after you go through those resources, although I think they're very self-explanatory, if you do have more questions through that process, you just send us an email, let us know, and we're happy to go through that with you, okay? So the next thing that I want to share with you all, and I could probably pause my screen sharing for a moment because I don't have anything to show you as I go through this, but maybe Tony can do this for me as I say these things. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen for a moment. As I name these things, oh, hey, Tasha, I didn't know Tasha joined us. Tony or Tasha can probably do this. As I name these different things, these are the domains I talked about. Just type the names in. You don't have to, if you can find a link, great. I didn't have that prepared to just drop in there somewhere. It's easier when I have a PowerPoint because then I already link it for you. But I'm going to name the top, as of 2021, the top 10 domain sites for you. And then I'll kind of quickly go back to Wix and WordPress to show you where you would link those domains when it's time, or if you don't already have a domain. So while some people have issues with GoDaddy, GoDaddy is still the #1 domain website. So I think that's just GoDaddy.com. But Tony or Tasha, just type in GoDaddy for those that may need the list. GoDaddy is the #1. All of my sites, I have 4 websites in life. All of my websites, my domain is from GoDaddy. The next one that you have is something called Bluehost. Okay, come on, MH, got it. Bluehost is the next one that you would want to know of. And then Hostgator, excuse me, not guitar, Hostgator. Hostgator is your 3rd one, and it's one word. These things, when we're saying them, they're one word. I know Bluehost, Gator. Why I keep saying guitar, y'all? Hostgator, Gator. Hostgator is the 3rd one that I think you should be aware of. Web.com. Do I need to repeat them? I'm not seeing them pop up in the chat. Y'all need me to repeat anything? Y'all good? Okay. Hostgator.
What was the one host?
Yeah, Hostgator.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And then web.com is the next one that you want to kind of consider. Network Solutions is another one. That's Network Solutions. And I probably should have given you all some prices with this stuff. So you kind of, we're halfway through. Okay. GoDaddy, you can get a domain typically as low as $1 a month. Okay. So that's what, $12 a year, typically. And that's assuming, you know, people aren't after this exact domain that you're looking for. And let me not make assumptions. Everybody know what I'm talking about when I say a domain, right? We're all on the same page. Okay. So you can typically get a domain as cheap as $1 a month off of GoDaddy. From Bluehost, you can typically get it for about $2.95 a month. So basically $3 a month. From Hostgator, a little less than Bluehost, it's $2.75 a month. And that I'm just giving you the lowest amount. Some of them you will find that they cost you a little more, but I'm just giving you the just average cost. Web.com, you can get it for about $2 a month, $1.95. $1.95 a month is their average cost. Network Solutions is a little higher. It's about $3.98 a month. So Network Solutions could run you about $4 a month to keep a domain. And of course, as these prices are going up and down, it typically means that they're offering a little bit more. Just keep that in mind. And we're not going to go through those details today, but just keep that in mind as you visit the different sites. So after Network Solutions, the next one is Squarespace, which is, I think, is another popular platform. Squarespace, you can also build websites on. Most of these you can probably build a website on. Squarespace runs you about $12 a month, average. For a domain, it runs you about $12 a month. The next one is A2 Hosting. A as in Apple, the number 2 hosting. And they are about $3 a month as well. I think they average at $2.99. So that's the 7th one. Squarespace, A2 Hosting. And then the last two that I want to share is Hostinger. I always don't know how to say this word. Hostinger, Hostinger. Hostinger. Okay. And that one is about $1.40 a month, $1.40 a month. And then the final one is DreamHost. And DreamHost runs you about $2.50, $2.59 or so a month. I have experience with the first one that I mentioned, GoDaddy, as well as the last one I mentioned, DreamHost. And the two websites I showed you today, Hustle, we use GoDaddy, versus the Delta Art Center, we use DreamHost. So I've seen both in action, so I can speak to both of those. I know that Squarespace is extremely popular and a lot of people like it, and there has to be benefits. It's the most expensive one I listed today. There has to be benefits to it because a lot of people use Squarespace. So just want to bring that to your attention. Those are some of the domains. I want to remind you, and I'll share my screen again. Tasha, did you need me to repeat any of them? Thank you so much for dropping those links in there. You need me to repeat any of those, or you got them?
No, I got them. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And I'll share my screen again because I'll show you just momentarily about those domains. But I just want to point out again that both Wix and WordPress, you can also get domains directly through them as you go through their process. So on Wix, if you all remember, and I don't know if it's going to let me go through the whole process again. But on Wix, let's just say we want to share the domain. Let me get out of here, y'all. And for those that may not have been with us during week 1, we created 2 different websites. I won't go through the whole process again, but what I'm about to share applies to both, no matter which Wix website you decide to create. but it's a lot. Let me make this quicker. I'm trying to find the quickest way to do it. Let's just assume we are about to create a new website because that's the easiest way for me to do it right now. And then I'll show you the back end side. But if you're creating a new website, in the early process of it, it immediately asks you in the process if you want to add a domain in your steps, okay? I'm not gonna go through this. I'm trying to find the best way because I'm gonna end up going through everything. We went through all of this during week 1 and 2. I don't wanna go through this again. So I'm not gonna do that. I'm trying to find the quickest way for you to, once you have your site established, if you need to go back and add your domain to it. Oh, there we go. Didn't I tell y'all this and I'm not following my own rules? I told you Wix will always tell you what you need to do. It's right here. It tells you right here, connect the domain, okay? Wix is so intuitive. If you notice certain things that you didn't do. And again, you can have a free website on either platform without ever connecting a domain. Just keep in mind though, that you will have the Wix branding on your site. On your website itself, the word Wix will be somewhere in that URL. So just keep that in mind. So let's just say you're connecting a domain. That's the process. And you can buy a new domain, and that's how I was telling you Wix do offer you their own domain. So you can go through that process, or you can connect an already existing domain. My experience, I've always had my own domain and just connected my own domain. That has been my experience, though I'm sure. And I have no issues, like zero. It's a very simple, quick process. And I think I've shared before, Wix customer service is pretty great for my experience if I needed help with anything, if you were having an issue. But my gut tells me that if you bought a new domain directly through them, it'll probably be even more seamless. They will probably make it even better for you, okay? So that's the way to do it with Wix. And then with WordPress, they don't let you blink without asking you to spend money with them. So when you first start to create that website, it does continue to ask you if you want to connect a domain. But very similarly here on this home page, when you go through the steps, the all about domains will eventually link you to it, but that's not the quickest way. And I don't know, maybe did we do this last week? I don't think we connected a domain. Okay, there it goes. In your quick links on your menu here on your dashboard, there's a add a domain button, and you go through those steps. And literally, like I tell you, WordPress, you have to pay attention to the details, because WordPress will have you believe you have to pay for a domain. Because if you continue, there's always an option at the bottom that says continue with your free domain. But WordPress, if you want to get it through them, as you can see, it costs a little more when you do it through these things, which is why we typically tell you about those other places to just quickly get your domain, okay? So that's about the domains and the places to get them. And if you choose to do it through the direct sites where you grab those from. I think what I want to close off with, unless there are some questions for me, I want to close.
Sorry, I do have a question.
Yeah.
If you go back to Wix and you are connecting, because I bought my domain with DreamHost, and my experience with them, the first year when I didn't do anything, it was the cheapest. It was only like $7-8 for the whole year. And now when it was time to renew, it was $15.99 for the year. And they offer you cheaper if you go 3 years or so. But since I was still kind of unsure what I wanted to do, I only renewed for 1 year. So, but now you go there and connect the domain you already own. At that point is when you start paying for Wix, and you can choose your plan, because you like in that case, I want to have depesoapeso.com. That's my domain. But I cannot have my domain with a free Wix account.
Right. So if you're going to connect your own domain, you have to choose an upgraded account. So you cannot connect a domain and keep a free website with Wix. You would need to do that. Now, I want to answer two things in your question that I heard. The first thing is that's very common for most of the domain sites. Your first year is probably going to be likely your cheapest, because they're trying to pull you in and want you to purchase with them. So most of them laid, like how you saw with WordPress, we saw like $18, $30, things like that. Though these typically become the normal prices of a domain. I think one of my domains, I pay $14.95 a year. And I have another one where I think I might pay $8 something a year, $8 and some change a year, something like that. And I think it's because I don't know, I've never paid more than $15 for the year for a domain. So I don't know, that's just, I guess that's my standard of where I probably would pay depending on what I'm getting. But as far as upgrading, Lorena and whoever else is interested in Wix, and I think this is going to be part of what I go through as part of my close off anyways, just the prices. Wix will run you, I think for if you just a regular website, you're looking at those prices, it will run you and you go through what you're getting with each of the, with each section. The cheapest plan I think that most people use is this one. They do have obviously this is a current sale. So this is not typically $9 a month. So the cheapest plan they have is generally this one. And you can kind of see what that works through. And that's if you need just a basic site, you want to showcase what you have, you want people to have somewhere to visit. But let's just say you need a site. Someone asked about this 2 weeks ago, need a site where you're accepting payments, you're doing a little bit more than just people coming to your site to see what you're doing. And you want some of these things intuitively built in, then the prices increase just a little bit a month. So you see that increase. And I always tell people, I think it's always worth taking advantage of these sales, because this right here is a steal. You're getting a business website at about $14 a month when a general website typically costs you $14 a month. And, again, you can scroll down when you visit this and see what you're getting for that amount. Most of you as small business owners won't need this plan, the enterprise plan. But if you find that you do, typically, like most platforms, you might need to contact them directly, okay? And WordPress, if you decide to upgrade on WordPress, if it's a personal, now when I say personal, keep in mind WordPress, you are paying for everything else. Like you pay for what we know as apps on your site. Like all of that has an individual cost. So the cheapest one for a personal site is $4 a month. I know people who have purchased this and felt that it was not worth it for them, for what they needed, because I don't suggest it for a business, but if you're just running a blog or something like that, then it may be good. But for a business, I wouldn't essentially recommend this. But if you're a small business and you're talking, there's a few things you want to do, then the premium one is fine. Obviously, they have a business account, a business option. Again, you can go through these details and see what works best for you. What do you need? What's et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. But I just wanted to kind of show you the difference in prices. And then now I want to walk through some of the pros and cons. How much time do we have? We have about 9 minutes. Some of the pros and cons, but before I do pros and cons, was there a question? I think I just heard somebody unmute.
Well, I was going to ask you what things to look for, because I saw down there like the size, the megabytes, the space available. What's a good size? If you scroll down, it's only 13 gigabytes, a little up right there, 13 gig compared to 6, compared to 200, 13 gig. Doesn't sound like a lot, because my phone is like 200 or something, like 164, I believe. So what's your experience with what to look for into deciding from one plan to another?
Yeah, so this is really going to be based off of what content you're putting on your website. So if you're uploading a lot of native videos onto your site, meaning it's not like a link to a YouTube that you're embedding, like you're literally loading the video, you're literally loading these photos, all of that stuff will determine how much space you need. So it's really based on you. In your case, Lorena, I'm assuming you want to put, would you be putting links to your podcast, or would you be uploading like the actual podcast file? Because that makes a difference between how big of a
Yeah.
size you need.
No, since soon I'll be also paying for the hosting of my, right now I'm using a free, the free portion of the hosting website. So I have like 5 hours for free, but as soon as I'm done with the 5 hours, I have to pay. So they host my podcast. And I know there is something that you copy, like a widget or something, and then I can use that into my website. I think it's just a link to the hosting, because I'll be paying for the podcast hosting and then paying for the website hosting, and 2 different things. So I don't think I need the space, just regular pictures. And then when I have videos, I think the best option is to have them on YouTube and just have the link, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, using the Hustle website again as an example, we have just the links, but we have them embedded. So I think if you go to our roots page as an example, we have videos on this page, but these videos are not uploaded onto our page. These are YouTube videos. These are literally, if you click on any one of these videos, it's going to take you to YouTube. I mean, it may play on our website, but these are uploads from YouTube. So these are not, they're not taking up the amount of space that a video could take on a website. Does that make sense? So it's really up to how you build your website. I think I don't claim to be an expert when it comes to storage size on websites or anything like that, but as you decide what you need, I do think it's something you look at, and you can always send us that question. I tell people all the time, we have people on the Hustle board that know this type of stuff, that I can send an email to really quickly and say, hey, what makes the most sense here? But yeah, you want to compare your size, if that's important to you, to the price that you're paying, and compare it to the other platform as well. You know, like you're getting 13 gigabytes at $8 a month with their premium plan versus, where was I? Is this the business? I want to compare similar things, versus, 35, or in this case, 3 for $14 a month. So you just kind of, sometimes you have to compare and contrast what works best for you and your business. And it might take a little time, but there's no right answer to it. It's really just based on what you need. And as you can see, like, for example, if you didn't already have a domain, they have it, at least for Wix here, where you can get one of their free domains for a year, okay? But a few things I want to highlight, because we have just a few minutes here, that I want to quickly highlight to you that I know I may not have touched on. As you think about WordPress and Wix, like, WordPress is considered an open source site. Being an open source site means anybody who's anybody can add those plugins into the site, and you need to deal directly with those who created the plugins if you have an issue, because there's not anyone that you can reach out to say, hey, this is wrong with my site, what's happening? Versus versus Wix, I told you their customer service, A1, in my opinion, that customer care, 24/7, okay? And for me, I find that important, because if I have questions, I don't have time to figure it out. I'm not a techie. I don't know this stuff. I need to be able to either chat with someone via their DMs or pick up the phone and call somewhere and say, hey, this is what's going on. Help walk me through it. And I've done that many times with Wix and have found it very helpful. But some people don't need that. Some people prefer to build their site because they have some of that technical expertise, and they can figure it out with WordPress, and they can pay a little less. But keep in mind, again, while you're paying a little less for the site, you are paying for any additional add-ons like your plugins, and you don't really have access to dedicated customer service. You're dealing with the world, with the community. So people who just has to have time to answer a question for you on a WordPress open source page. Again, Wix is very easy to use, but it's a little less flexible as far as how many things you can change versus WordPress. WordPress, there's a learning curve to WordPress, but it's way more flexible. Okay. Tony, you had a question?
There's a question in the chat from MH, and it reads, I think we want people to stay longer on our website. So would it be better to store the videos on our website? Otherwise, people may click the video and then watch the video on YouTube. I don't know the answer, just food for thought.
Yeah. So that, you think about your goals. All of this go back to your goals. If you're wanting people to stay on your website, then you probably want to build it into your site so that it doesn't take them somewhere else. And you might want to buy one of those plans that give you more storage space for that particular purpose. So for example, in our case, if I decided to play this video here, it does play, this did not take them away. All I do is just give me a moment. Okay. So in this case, we did not leave our website in this case, right? Like they're still technically on the Hustle website, and we have it set up where they're going to watch this video right here on our website. But sometimes it depends on people's devices. It depends on whatever, and it may not play on our website. So we wanted them to have the option to take them to YouTube to play that video. So it's up to you. We don't have any of this built. This is a YouTube link. Once again, we do not have the native video in our website because we didn't want it to take up that much space. And we wanted we chose a template that allowed us to play the YouTube video on our site. Okay. So let me get out of here. Oh goodness. I pressed play. Oh, here's the X. Y'all couldn't tell me the X was right here for me to just get out of here.
We can only see half your screen, or is it just me, y'all?
My name is.
I can only see half your screen.
Well, maybe because I don't know what happened, but to answer your question, I don't know if we're supposed to just be calling you MH, but to answer your question, MH, you can have it set up where it plays on your website. Like you can literally have it that way because that's how we have it set up. Okay. I think we went through everything that I wanted to touch on as far as customer service, pricing, the themes. What I wanted to say about themes, and I may have mentioned this in the past, is that with WordPress being open source, WordPress has about 55,000 themes you can choose from if you upgrade your account. That could be a good thing or a bad thing because that drives me insane. But for people who want to be more customizable, that could be a good thing. Versus Wix. Wix has about 500 to maybe 1,000 in that range. So it's still a lot. They're cutting grass. I'm sorry. I don't know if y'all can hear that. It's still a lot, but you have a little bit more condensed. And, for some people, they want more options. So you need that 55,000. For others, 500 is already too much. And that's, what it needs to be. So that's the only thing I want to say about themes. We covered pricing. We covered features in the last couple of weeks. I think we've talked about everything. But if you have more questions regarding Wix or WordPress beyond the sessions, when you look at them and when Tasha sends it out to you, you'll get all 5 videos. So you'll get the videos from the last 5 weeks. As long as you registered to be here today, you'll receive it. If you have questions beyond those videos, don't hesitate to reach out to us. And I know we're a minute over time, but thank you so much. Any other burning questions? If you have to leave, I definitely understand. Have a great rest of the week. And we hope to see you next week as we start to walk through Instagram. And like I said, we're going over the basics. We're touching on Reels, IGTV. We're touching on captions. There's one more area that we're touching on that I can't remember, but that's how we'll spend our 4 weeks as we walk through Instagram. So I'm excited about that. I see all of the comments. Thank you all so much. I appreciate that. But if are any other questions? Thank you, MH. Thank you. Thank you, Trudy. I think you're saying something, but you're muted, but I think I heard you. I think I can see you mouth. Thank you.
Yes, I said thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Mhm.
All right. Well, you all have a great week. I see your message. Thank you. I just got that DM. You all are so sweet. Thank you so much. Have a great day. And I'll stop the live on Facebook. Why is it not letting me stop the live? Facebook just want to stay with us today. Let me see. There we go. Have a great weekend, Facebook.